Take a deep breath and listen carefully. Today, you are not just watching English practice. You're going to speak like real-life conversations. No pressure, no stress. Just listen and repeat slowly. This is shadowing. You hear the sentence, you copy the rhythm, and your English starts becoming natural. Little by little, your speaking becomes smoother, clearer, more confident. So don't think too much. Just relax. Listen carefully and speak with me. These are real-life conversations that native speakers use every day. And today, you will practice them. Step by step. Ready. Let's begin together. I didn't expect the traffic to be this bad today. I didn't expect the traffic to be this bad today. Can you lower your voice a little? Can you lower your voice a little? I almost forgot about the meeting this afternoon. That restaurant was much better than I expected. I need a few minutes to think about it. Why didn't you answer my message earlier? The weather feels strange this evening. I've never seen this place so crowded before. Can we talk about this later tonight? You look different with your hair like that. I wasn't ready for that question. Someone left their bag on the chair. I think we're going in the wrong direction. Do you still remember that conversation from last week? This coffee tastes stronger than usual. I thought the movie would be more interesting. Can you send me the address again? I've been waiting here for almost an hour. That doesn't sound like a good idea right now. I didn't realize how late it was. You should probably check that again. Everything happened so quickly this morning. I'm not sure if they understood the situation. The music is too loud in here. I've had a really busy week lately. Can you wait for me outside? Nobody told me about the schedule change. I don't usually wake up this early. That was one of the funniest things I've heard. I can't find my keys anywhere. We should leave before it starts raining. I didn't mean to sound rude earlier. This place feels much quieter today. I wonder why they canceled the event. Could you repeat that one more time? I wasn't paying attention for a second. The line is getting longer every minute. I think someone is calling your name. You handled that situation really well. I need to charge my phone soon. This jacket feels surprisingly warm. I didn't know you were coming today. There's something strange about this message. I can already feel the temperature dropping. That explanation actually made sense to me. I think we've met somewhere before. I was about to call you, then my phone died. That comment sounded a little unnecessary. I've been thinking about that situation all day. You should have told me earlier. It would have helped a lot. I didn't notice the time passing so quickly. There's no point arguing about it anymore. I honestly didn't expect them to react like that. This conversation is getting more serious than I thought. I can't believe we almost missed the train. You seem distracted today. Is everything all right? I would rather stay home tonight. I would rather stay home tonight. The atmosphere here feels completely different now. The atmosphere here feels completely different now. I didn't realize how complicated this would become. I didn't realize how complicated this would become. Someone must have taken my charger by mistake. Someone must have taken my charger by mistake. That explanation raised even more questions for me. That explanation raised even more questions for me. I wish people would communicate more clearly sometimes. I wish people would communicate more clearly sometimes. The elevator stopped working again this morning. The elevator stopped working again this morning. I never thought this decision would be so difficult. I never thought this decision would be so difficult. Can we switch seats? It's too cold here. Can we switch seats? It's too cold here. I should have listened to your advice earlier. I should have listened to your advice earlier. Everything looked normal from the outside. Everything looked normal from the outside. I'm trying not to overthink the situation. I'm trying not to overthink the situation. That meeting took much longer than expected. That meeting took much longer than expected. I couldn't hear anything because of the noise. I couldn't hear anything because of the noise. The way they handled the problem was impressive. The way they handled the problem was impressive. I need some time alone to clear my mind. I need some time alone to clear my mind. Nobody seemed prepared for the sudden announcement. Nobody seemed prepared for the sudden announcement. I accidentally deleted the wrong file yesterday. I accidentally deleted the wrong file yesterday. The streets are unusually quiet tonight. The streets are unusually quiet tonight. I've never been this confused before. I've never been this confused before. You handled the pressure surprisingly well. You handled the pressure surprisingly well. I thought you had already left the building. I thought you had already left the building. There's definitely something missing from this report. There's definitely something missing from this report. I wasn't comfortable with the way they spoke. I wasn't comfortable with the way they spoke. The internet connection keeps cutting out. The internet connection keeps cutting out. I had no idea the store closed this early. I had no idea the store closed this early. You could have at least answered my call. You could have at least answered my call. This doesn't feel like the right moment to talk. This doesn't feel like the right moment to talk. I've been avoiding that topic for weeks. I've been avoiding that topic for weeks. They completely misunderstood what I was trying to say. They completely misunderstood what I was trying to say. I suddenly remembered where I left my wallet. I suddenly remembered where I left my wallet. It took me a while to understand the problem. It took me a while to understand the problem. The room became silent after that question. The room became silent after that question. I'm not used to dealing with this kind of pressure. I'm not used to dealing with this kind of pressure. You sounded different on the phone yesterday. You sounded different on the phone yesterday. I don't think they were being completely honest. I don't think they were being completely honest. The whole situation could have been avoided easily. The whole situation could have been avoided easily. I wasn't expecting such a detailed response. I wasn't expecting such a detailed response. That was probably the most awkward moment today. That was probably the most awkward moment today. I still can't figure out what went wrong. I still can't figure out what went wrong. I nearly spilled my coffee on the laptop. I nearly spilled my coffee on the laptop. That idea sounded better in my head. That idea sounded better in my head. I didn't recognize him at first glance. I didn't recognize him at first glance. The meeting got postponed without any warning. The meeting got postponed without any warning. I can't deal with this noise anymore. I can't deal with this noise anymore. You were unusually quiet during dinner tonight. You were unusually quiet during dinner tonight. The train arrived earlier than expected today. The train arrived earlier than expected today. I wasn't aware of the policy change. I wasn't aware of the policy change. Something about this situation feels suspicious. Something about this situation feels suspicious. I forgot how exhausting this place could be. I forgot how exhausting this place could be. They refused to explain the reason clearly. They refused to explain the reason clearly. I could tell she was hiding something. I could tell she was hiding something. The battery drained much faster than usual. The battery drained much faster than usual. I didn't want to interrupt the conversation. I didn't want to interrupt the conversation. That answer didn't sound convincing at all. That answer didn't sound convincing at all. We ended up talking for almost 3 hours. We ended up talking for almost 3 hours. I've been noticing small changes lately. I've been noticing small changes lately. The customer beside me kept complaining loudly. The customer beside me kept complaining loudly. I wasn't satisfied with their explanation. I wasn't satisfied with their explanation. This hallway always feels colder than the others. This hallway always feels colder than the others. You reacted much calmer than I expected. You reacted much calmer than I expected. Nobody realized the microphone was still on. Nobody realized the microphone was still on. I shouldn't have ignored that warning sign. I shouldn't have ignored that warning sign. The screen suddenly went completely black. The screen suddenly went completely black. I had trouble concentrating because of the noise. I had trouble concentrating because of the noise. The manager looked frustrated during the discussion. The manager looked frustrated during the discussion. I accidentally sent the message to the wrong person. I accidentally sent the message to the wrong person. This neighborhood feels unfamiliar at night. This neighborhood feels unfamiliar at night. I wasn't prepared for such a difficult question. I wasn't prepared for such a difficult question. The conversation became awkward after that comment. The conversation became awkward after that comment. I noticed a strange smell in the kitchen. I noticed a strange smell in the kitchen. They seemed annoyed for no obvious reason. They seemed annoyed for no obvious reason. I had to restart the computer twice today. I had to restart the computer twice today. The lights flickered for a few seconds. The lights flickered for a few seconds. I didn't expect the store to be this crowded. I didn't expect the store to be this crowded. That joke made everyone at the table laugh. That joke made everyone at the table laugh. I kept thinking about that conversation afterward. I kept thinking about that conversation afterward. The delivery arrived much later than promised. The delivery arrived much later than promised. I could hear people arguing downstairs. I could hear people arguing downstairs. That decision created unnecessary confusion for everyone. That decision created unnecessary confusion for everyone. I wasn't paying attention to the announcement. I wasn't paying attention to the announcement. The air inside the room felt heavy. The air inside the room felt heavy. I've never experienced this kind of delay before. I've never experienced this kind of delay before. You handled the criticism surprisingly professionally. You handled the criticism surprisingly professionally. The chair suddenly collapsed beneath him. The chair suddenly collapsed beneath him. I didn't realize how far we had walked. I didn't realize how far we had walked. The waiter forgot part of our order again. The waiter forgot part of our order again. I couldn't understand what he meant exactly. I couldn't understand what he meant exactly. The atmosphere became tense within seconds. The atmosphere became tense within seconds. I kept checking my phone every few minutes. I kept checking my phone every few minutes. The system kept crashing right before the deadline. The system kept crashing right before the deadline. She handled the negotiation with unexpected confidence. She handled the negotiation with unexpected confidence. I couldn't quite interpret his reaction in that moment. I couldn't quite interpret his reaction in that moment. The data reveals patterns we didn't notice earlier. The data reveals patterns we didn't notice earlier. They underestimated how complex the situation would become. They underestimated how complex the situation would become. I had to reconsider everything I thought I knew. I had to reconsider everything I thought I knew. The evidence doesn't fully support that conclusion. The evidence doesn't fully support that conclusion. Her explanation sounded logical, but incomplete. Her explanation sounded logical, but incomplete. I realized the assumptions were completely wrong. I realized the assumptions were completely wrong. The project required more coordination than expected. The project required more coordination than expected. I couldn't ignore the inconsistencies anymore. I couldn't ignore the inconsistencies anymore. The results were far more significant than predicted. The results were far more significant than predicted. He presented the idea with remarkable clarity. He presented the idea with remarkable clarity. I started questioning the entire framework. I started questioning the entire framework. The situation escalated faster than anyone anticipated. The situation escalated faster than anyone anticipated. I needed a more strategic approach to solve it. I needed a more strategic approach to solve it. Their argument lacked sufficient supporting evidence. Their argument lacked sufficient supporting evidence. I carefully reviewed every possible alternative. I carefully reviewed every possible alternative. The conclusion seemed valid, but not fully proven. The conclusion seemed valid, but not fully proven. I struggled to maintain objectivity in that discussion. I struggled to maintain objectivity in that discussion. The outcome depended on multiple uncertain factors. The outcome depended on multiple uncertain factors. I observed subtle changes in their behavior. I observed subtle changes in their behavior. The hypothesis doesn't align with recent findings. The hypothesis doesn't align with recent findings. I had to rethink my entire perspective on the issue. I had to rethink my entire perspective on the issue. The analysis revealed unexpected correlations. The analysis revealed unexpected correlations. I couldn't verify the source of that information. I couldn't verify the source of that information. The interpretation varies depending on the context. The interpretation varies depending on the context. I realized the importance of timing in that decision. I realized the importance of timing in that decision. The discussion shifted toward more complex ideas. The discussion shifted toward more complex ideas. I found the explanation both detailed and insightful. I found the explanation both detailed and insightful. The model failed to predict that outcome accurately. The model failed to predict that outcome accurately. I needed more clarity before making a final judgment. I needed more clarity before making a final judgment. The evidence suggests a different direction entirely. The evidence suggests a different direction entirely. I was forced to reconsider my initial assumptions. I was forced to reconsider my initial assumptions. The situation required immediate analytical thinking. The situation required immediate analytical thinking. I noticed contradictions in the presented data. I noticed contradictions in the presented data. The framework itself needs significant revision. The framework itself needs significant revision. I couldn't ignore the broader implications anymore. I couldn't ignore the broader implications anymore. The discussion highlighted several critical gaps. The discussion highlighted several critical gaps. I had to break down the problem into smaller parts. I had to break down the problem into smaller parts. The conclusion was based on limited information. The conclusion was based on limited information. I realized the importance of structured reasoning. I realized the importance of structured reasoning. The outcome depended heavily on external variables. The outcome depended heavily on external variables. I questioned the reliability of the entire process. I questioned the reliability of the entire process. The results required deeper interpretation. The results required deeper interpretation. I wasn't sure how to respond in that moment. I wasn't sure how to respond in that moment. She asked a question I didn't expect at all. She asked a question I didn't expect at all. I forgot what I was about to say. I forgot what I was about to say. The message came at the wrong time. The message came at the wrong time. I couldn't explain it properly to him. I couldn't explain it properly to him. The situation felt a bit uncomfortable. The situation felt a bit uncomfortable. I think we misunderstood each other. I think we misunderstood each other. I didn't notice the change at first. I didn't notice the change at first. He spoke too fast for me to follow. He spoke too fast for me to follow. I was trying to remember the details. I was trying to remember the details. The room suddenly became very quiet. The room suddenly became very quiet. I didn't expect such a simple answer. I didn't expect such a simple answer. She looked confused after hearing the news. She looked confused after hearing the news. I wasn't prepared for that kind of question. I wasn't prepared for that kind of question. The conversation felt a little strange. The conversation felt a little strange. Oh, I couldn't find the right words to explain. I couldn't find the right words to explain. He seemed distracted during the meeting. He seemed distracted during the meeting. I realized I had made a small mistake. I realized I had made a small mistake. The plan didn't go as expected. The plan didn't go as expected. I wasn't paying full attention earlier. I wasn't paying full attention earlier. She didn't react the way I thought she would. She didn't react the way I thought she would. I had to repeat myself a few times. I had to repeat myself a few times. The answer sounded a bit unclear. The answer sounded a bit unclear. I felt slightly nervous in that situation. I felt slightly nervous in that situation. He didn't show any clear reaction. He didn't show any clear reaction. The instructions were a little confusing. The instructions were a little confusing. I noticed something unusual about it. I noticed something unusual about it. She spoke in a very calm voice. She spoke in a very calm voice. I wasn't ready for that kind of change. I wasn't ready for that kind of change. Yet the timing of the call was perfect. The timing of the call was perfect. I didn't realize it was already so late. I didn't realize it was already so late. He tried to explain it step by step. He tried to explain it step by step. I found it difficult to concentrate. I found it difficult to concentrate. The situation became more clear later. The situation became more clear later. She didn't answer immediately. She didn't answer immediately. I kept thinking about it afterward. I kept thinking about it afterward. The message was simple but meaningful. The message was simple but meaningful. I didn't expect that kind of reaction. I didn't expect that kind of reaction. He looked a bit surprised at my answer. He looked a bit surprised at my answer. The conversation ended quite naturally. The conversation ended quite naturally. I wasn't sure if I understood correctly. I wasn't sure if I understood correctly. She spoke very softly during the call. She spoke very softly during the call. I had to ask him twice. I had to ask him twice. The situation felt slightly awkward. The situation felt slightly awkward. I didn't notice anything strange at first. I didn't notice anything strange at first. He explained it in a very simple way. He explained it in a very simple way. I realized it was my mistake. I realized it was my mistake. The conversation went on longer than expected. The conversation went on longer than expected.